That's interesting. Why isn't it doing that? Signals and excellent. We're live there. We should be back. I don't know. Let me know if you guys see the video. Can you hear the audio at least? We should be on there. Yeah, what is going on indeed? I think YouTube dropped the stream there momentarily. Away we go. So I don't know. Did you guys get the names of the two guys who won? Daniel Salakrup and Jerry Johnson are the guys that won this. So it looks like momentarily their YouTube had a little blip there, and it couldn't get the video streaming there. And Hector Vargas says, hello, Jeff, from Allentown, Pennsylvania. Good song from Billy Joel. Good song. All right, so let's see what's the next one. Let's go back to the competitions here. Pick the next prize. What comes up after that? Oh, a very popular one. Oh. This is that 791 kit. I think it comes with the 2 batteries or 1. No, it comes with a 5 amp hour battery. The battery alone on this is worth $159 if you go and pay full price. And these were going for like $199. And then at the end of January, this is that glitch deal. Remember I told you guys about that Home Depot glitch? And these, if you bought this, and I forget what else, you put one of the other buy one, get one free tool deals in the basket with it online, it dropped the price of this down to $149, and which means that by the time you average it between the two tools, you were paying $68 for this entire kit. So what a great deal this was. And 1,800 of you, when I told you that on that Friday afternoon, 1,800 of you were able to buy it that day. It was incredible. And then I think it dropped to like, I don't know, 600 the next day because it very quickly sold out. And then by Sunday, it was only a few people. And then most of the people were finding it in the store. So let's see who won this one. This one was the most popular one. We had 2,002 entries for this one here. So let's draw our winner. Let's see who we have. And the winner is Jenilyn Gross from Bel Air, Maryland. Jenilyn Gross. Now, some of you that are winning these bigger, heavier items like this, I might be sending you an email asking if you want to do the eBay hack with me to help cover the, to help us get a reduced price on the shipping. Because what happens is on these boxes, these are all considered oversized by all the carriers. And they'll charge like $30 or $40 to ship these things. It's insane. So what I do is I make a little listing on eBay for 99 cents, and you just buy it. And that way it allows me to use the shipping in eBay. We call it our eBay shipping hack. And the eBay, because of the economy of scale, we can get up to 50% off on the shipping sometimes. If I ship this through my online, post office account, I pay full rack rate. And forget all of those bogus shipping sites that claim they give you a discount. They don't. It's this. I've sat there and compared them side by side, and none of these other shipping services do any kind of. They don't bring anything to the table than me going right to FedEx's homepage and doing it, or right to the post office homepage and doing it. So Gene just checked in. My buddy Gene from GG Goes Keto. He's in with us tonight. And if you guys haven't seen his channel, you got to check it out. I mentioned that last night too. He has a good channel on healthy eating and cooking keto, and he'll review a lot of kind of how I do my tool review videos and the big ticket items at Costco. He will go in and find you the foods and tell you whether they really are keto or not, because organic is an overly misused term. Keto is, I'm sure, a misused term as well. So Anne Marie B just checked in. Hello, everyone from Massachusetts. That's actually my home state. I was born there, raised there a number of years. And Jeff McGee says, hey, Jeff, Jeff's rule. You know it, buddy. You know it. All right, let's see what else. So John Little says, can I DM you about how I can learn the eBay hack? Yeah. You can find me on my Facebook page. That's the best way to contact me, through Messenger. But yeah, basically the way it works is you just do a little listing, and I put it at 99 cents. I tried to do a dime, but they don't allow, I think 99 cents is as low as you can list something on eBay. And when the person buys it, now you just have the shipping right there. You enter all of that. And our good friend, Mr. Chaka Gillis, just checked in with a $2 super chat. And he says, Ryobi tools are trash. It's an undisputable fact. Shaka, I bet if you got your hands on one of these, you would fall in love with this clamp fan. Look at this, see? It clamps to your ladder. It clamps to just about anything. I know Shaka's going to come back and say, yeah, it clamps to the trash can. That's what it does. But, yeah, thanks. And, yeah, you guys, you can... these super chats really help out. They help us buy more and more of these tools that we give away for you folks. So... anybody can give a super chat at any time by clicking on that $sign that you see at the bottom of the chat window down there, right? There's like 3 little icons, and one of them is the $sign with a square around it in the middle. So, yeah, every little bit helps. So, thanks again, Shaka, for that. And Jet17 says, okay, I'll take it with the eBay hack. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that eBay hack really helps. Sometimes it's only like discount. But one time, a couple of months ago, I did one, and it was like a 55% discount on the shipping. Because they've just gotten brutally expensive in the past year. I mean, brutally. To the point that I've had to figure out ways to fit stuff into these, like the flat rate, envelopes. Of course, you can't do it with these big kits. And they don't have any flat rate boxes for those either, unfortunately. And somebody just said, checking in from Vegas. Where was it? I just saw it. I missed it. It scrolled right by before I could. And Steve Maddox says, Texas girls rock. Okay. And then, who else have we got? Oh, yeah, Trufix just checked in from Paso Robles, California. Hello there. And 3D Jeff says, Jeff, I found you through Marius. Oh, yeah. Mastering Mayhem. Yeah, I was on his... channel last night watching him. He does a tool giveaway too, so if you guys don't win over here, check out Mastering Mayhem, that channel here on YouTube as well. He's got a good channel, and he does walkthroughs of the stores too, and tool reviews. So a lot of times he'll find tools and stuff that we didn't find, or we can't all review every tool out there. So yeah, he does some good tool reviews that you'll want to check out. And the tool giveaways, he gave away 3 last night. And let's see, what else? And Gigi Goes Keto says, whomever wins the fan, gift it to Chaka. Yeah, right. All right, what's our next one? The next gift that's coming up here. The next tool. We did the 791. Oh, yes. Another great tool here, folks. So this one here is the grinder. This here is the DCG 412B. The B stands for bare tool, meaning there's no batteries, okay? So you have to have a DeWalt battery, or you got to go out and buy one. So, and I think I had the picture wrong on this for several days during the tool giveaway there when you were registering. I was showing the old picture of the plug-in grinder that we gave away last month. This one is a cordless, see? Battery goes on it there at the end. So just be mindful of that. This one got 1,623, well, actually 1,623 people gave 2,650 entries on this one. So let's go pick a winner. Let's see who's the lucky person here on this one. Boom, 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 boom. And the winner is Kathy Gruenberg from Pomona, California. Congratulations, Kathy. So when you get an email from me tonight, I'll be sending you an email with a link to this thing on eBay, and you just click it, and 99 cents, and that way we'll be able to get the shipping label for you at a massive discount. Because from here to Florida to California, that's the worst case scenario there, and this is going to have to go in like probably a 16-inch box. So if you guys haven't paid attention to what the post office and the other shippers have done in the last few years, if you have any box dimension over 12 inches, it's called oversized. I'm like, what? That's a slap in the face. Just another reason for them to overcharge you. Translation, it's not oversized, it's overcharged, is what it is. And, oh, Dean says, I missed signing up for the clamp fan. How did you miss that one? Dang, man. Well, if I find any more, I'll definitely try to score some. But I know my store's been out for at least a few weeks. And that's why when I went in and got these, there's, 4 lucky winners on this. I bought 4 of these when I stumbled onto that in the Boca store. So I made sure I said, that's it, I'm going to take them all. And Lance Voorhees says, Jeff, enjoy your videos. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for that. And, yeah, Jim C. is hinting. He says, Jeff needs a winner from Central Texas. Didn't we just give one out from San Antonio? And, let's see. Yeah, John Little says, I'll bet that's $50 or better to ship. Yeah, probably in the 30s, I would think, is what they would charge. All right, so let's pick the next tool. And let's see what we're looking at here. Next tool is coming right up here. The next one is, let's see, we did the grinder. Oh, that's it. I just had it in my hand. The clamp fan. We got 4 of these puppies. There's going to be 4 lucky winners here. So let's see who our winners are. 1,500 people that generated 2,550 entries for this. And remember, folks, this is tool only, so you're going to have to get a battery if you don't have one. And if you do go get batteries and you don't have any, I would highly suggest you do the Ryobi Days deal where you buy the 2 battery pack there with the charger, and then you get a free tool on top of that. So let's draw the winners. 4 lucky people here. And let's see who these lucky people are. And the winners are Shaka Gillis. He wins all 4. Okay, here we go. Winner number 1 is Robert Redente from Woodbridge, Virginia. Got a lot of Virginia and West Virginia people tonight winning. We have Janice Cash from Cleveland, Tennessee. We have Will Griesmer from Germantown, Wisconsin. It's Wisconsin. All right, you got to pronounce it right. It's Wisconsin. And you have Gilbert Lam from San Francisco. Congratulations to all 4 of you. You guys are going to love these. My daughter sleeps with one of these by her bed. She likes these fans. Keeps her cool at night there. So, Leah Chart says, Jeff, can you read all the winners due to the late start? It's a little difficult. If I can, I can't guarantee that I'll have time. It's very tedious to go in there and pick every one of the winners out singly. I think what I can do is build a list as I contact each one tonight and do it that way. And put it on the comments below here over the next few days as I get them rolled out. And let's see. You know what I might try to do sometime in the future is maybe scoop up some Home Depot gift cards. But, you guys know me. I try to get stuff at a discount. So, like, when I went in there and buy all of these things, I usually get them either on sale or on clearance, or I'm using my 10% off Lowe's coupon, which at least up until the last time I tried it a month ago, they were still taking it at our store, even though they told me that they're not supposed to be taking it anymore. And are the fans just battery? Yes, they are not. It'd be kind of nice if they were hybrid too, but yeah, they're just battery only, but they'll last like 40 hours on I think it's on a 6 amp hour battery. And it's let me see. The P193 6 amp hour battery, 40 hours. Yep. So pretty much you could probably get 3 or 4 nights in a row of having it by your bed, And Ted says, your hair looks much better tonight. That's why I went and got it cut the other day, man, because it was like too long. And when I'm wearing my headphones all day, working on the videos, it was creating 2 horns. Maybe I'm Satan. So let's see. Okay, we have the next one to go to. That was pretty good, man. 4 lucky dudes right there. Competition finished. And the next one, oh yeah. Let me tell you guys, what a frustrating story behind this kit. This is the Lennox 8-piece Plumber Carbide tip set. This is now the 4th time I've tried to give this away, because every single time somebody applied, filled out the application for this one, and they win it, And when I contact them, I don't hear back from them. And I'm talking some of these people, I contact them like multiple times, and I don't hear back from them. Look, this thing is essentially like a hole dozer kit. See? It's like the Milwaukee hole dozer, but this is, I guess, it's a carbide tipped, so it's pretty much geared for plumbers. So, see, I got the, I don't know how close, if it's still in focus or not, but, you know, I can't give this thing. Literally, when they say, I can't give this away, I've been trying for like 6 months to give this thing away. And I hope that the fourth time here is the charm. So here's our lucky winner, and let's see who it is. If this person doesn't claim it, I'm going to embarrass him on the next tool review. I'm going to show his name and everything. We have Greg Lancaster from Tacoma, Washington. Way out there. Complete opposite corner of the country. So congratulations to Greg Lancaster. And by the way, guys, this is not a cheap kit. It goes for like $200 online because it's a specialty kit. They never even carry these in the stores. They have like probably... I don't know, maybe like a regular version, a general purpose. But that, if you go look online, you'll see a lot of people charging quite a bit for that. Musical Gamer says, I think you're spot on with your collapse theory. I love your videos. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I hope I'm close. So far, until I examine more evidence, that's sort of where I've been leaning. I've been kind of, you know, it's like a captain steering the ship as I get more evidence and pictures and testimony in over the week. And people keep sending me pictures that I haven't seen before that I go, oh, okay, that, yeah. And then, wait a minute, it looks like that a $5 super chat came in here, but it's not showing me. Oh, it's from Tool Nerd. And it says, smash that like button, you rock, Jeff. Well, thanks a lot, Tool Nerd. Thank you so much for that. And Tony says, yeah, please keep the Surfside videos coming. Yeah, we are. I'm actually going to start working tomorrow on that. You guys saw that ring video, the black and white ring video that lady had of what was going on inside her apartment as the whole building collapsed. She wasn't there. Luckily, she says she was away from the building that day. But we're going to analyze that one frame by frame, show you where it was in the building, analyze what was going on and everything. I'm also going to work on one that's going to cover like the top like 12 or 13 possible failure modes of the building that people have been calling in, asking, you know, writing about, like, you know, of course the stupid ones. Was it a on purpose explosion? Was it John McAfee? You know, there was a Navy ship doing testing that caused a big 3.9 earthquake a couple of days before. Could that have done it? So we're going to look at all of these different things, you know, from seawater coming up through the bottom of the slab and everything else. That probably get that one done in another week. And then Carol Long just sent us a $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much for that. And see, so all of you that contributed so far, that right there is almost one of these, see? So the more that people help, the more that we're able to buy. And Bunny Rabbit says, do you think the building debris was cleared too quickly without a... Yes, I do. I absolutely do. They should have given people enough time to get in there and just, like, take a look through all of that stuff. And, in fact, the city of... No, it's a town. The town of Surfside hired this world-renowned engineer to come in earlier in the week. And the police, whoever's in charge of the site right now, won't even let him in, and he's pissed because they've already cleared out almost everything. I don't know if you guys are familiar with what's going on. They've already scooped out most of the debris pile. And there's a channel here on YouTube called Because Surfside. So that you just go on YouTube and search for the words Because Surfside. And they have a live feed going, I think, pretty much 24 hours a day, or most of it. And you can see from the top of a building a few blocks away, they're zoomed into the site. So you can see all of the tractors and trailers and stuff and whatever moving debris around. And you can see all day long just, you know, what's going on down there on the site. And it looks like the only thing that's left is a little bit of water at the bottom of the bottom of the garage. I want to see, it looks to me, just from the few shots that I've seen provided by the fire department, most most of the posts in the garage are still like stubs. They're standing straight up out of the ground. But that kind of shows to me that they didn't get like sheared off, ripped around, or whatever. I think that they just, the building landed on most of them. And John Little says, have you ever seen the spider or large hole saw kit? I've seen a couple of kits there at Lowe's, but I don't know if I've seen like a large one. Are you talking about like doing like a 6-inch one? I don't think I've seen those. And Bunny Rabbit says, do you think the building debris... Yeah, that's right. That's the question we just answered. The building debris was cleared way too quickly. But what they've done is they've moved all of that debris several miles away to there's like a big field somewhere. And I guess the investigators are going to sort through all of that. And Musical Gamer just sent us a $6.99 Canadian dollar. Chat, thank you so much. And it says, Jeff, someone needs to go to the sister building to see if the beam was warped in the sister building. I would love to get into that building. I might try to just take a chance and drive down there and see if I can sort of walk in there, pretend like I know what I'm doing. I would love to get in there and see, because they use the same floor plans, I'm pretty sure, and check to see if the beam is in there on the drawings on the north tower. It is in there on the south tower, but not on the... I just haven't looked on the north tower yet. I've used a lot of stuff from the north tower to help me figure out things from the south tower. So, for example, if you do the Google Street View in front of the north tower's entrance to the garage, their gate is open and you can see all the way down there. So you know exactly which columns you're supposed to be seeing as you look down the ramp. So that when you look at that tourist's video that they shot of the, where the pool deck had collapsed into the ramp. Oh, actually, it wasn't even on the ramp. It was way back beyond the ramp. But that helps us gauge which columns are missing in that picture now, because that's very important information to know. And, Llama Llama says, Jeff, coming to you live from jail. That would be funny. That'd be cool, actually. And there would be a captive audience. The Tool Nerd says, thanks again for all you do for the Tool Hood. All right. Well, you guys are all welcome. And let's see. Musical Gamer says the beam and the column number 27 are the failure points. Well, I think the first failure point, it's not really number 27, but it's the one that 27 is connected to, which I call 27/28, because the number 27 is right on space 27. But where space 27 backs up to space 28 is where that other column is. That column is the one that's outside the building. 27 is right over, it supports the very southern edge of the building. That's the one that collapsed in that famous security camera video that we all now see, where the whole building just comes down. So that is on the border of the building. And so the one behind it, 27/28, is in the pool deck outside the building, right directly below that planter. And you'll see it in the video that I uploaded last night. I showed you everything and how I narrowed it down to that area. And if you look on the video last night, guys, you'll see where last summer the engineers had a contractor come in and cut a 3-foot by 3-foot square on the pool deck right at that spot. And they were supposed to repair it right away. And I don't think they did, because I show you pictures in there last night from real estate agents who listed properties in there since then, and it was still there. And in a couple of the pictures, there's a Bob's Barricade there. So, yeah, there's, a lot of strange things not adding up there. And sometimes the more pictures we look at, the more questions it brings up, And let's see. I'm going to go see what other tools are here to do the giveaway. And so we did... What did we do? We just did the fan. Oh, we did the hole saw. So the next one is the DeWalt black and gold drill bit set. Where is that booger? That's this guy. Right here. 14 piece, black and gold. Coming right at somebody. This one had 2,640 entries. So now as we go to pick our winner, let's see who it is. Who's the lucky person? And it is Milton, and I hope I don't mess up this last name, but it's Milton Aviles Ramos from Nashua, New Hampshire. Welcome. You are welcome, my friend, and Congratulations on winning this one. This is nice. I have so many of these kits, and what I like about these, see, it's got the clear lid, and it's the Tough Case Plus on these two. These will latch onto each other, which is cool. They won't latch onto the older style DeWalt cases, though. These will latch onto each other, and these will latch onto any of the VersaStack components, and some of the bigger VersaStack boxes. It will even latch onto the side, which is kind of cool. If you have that 3-drawer plastic 216-piece mechanics tool set, it will latch onto that. Let's see, any other questions? Let's see. Nerdy says, Madison Badger, Laura Burback, Musical Gamer, Robert Benzel, all sent super chats. Cool. Let me see what else. Let me go back and find that. Yeah, there's Robert Benzel. He just sent a $5 super chat. Thank you so much for that. And we got the one from Musical Gamer. Okay. And Detra Ed says they had issues 15 years after it was built, too, which is unusual. Yeah. So, in 1996 on that building, guys, they brought in a company to add all of those brick pavers onto the deck. And part of their job was they were supposed to fix 500 lineal feet of cracks that were in the garage ceiling. So that says to me they already had issues. So we don't know what caused them, you know. And in 2018, an engineering report from the engineer Marabato, I think, what he said in his report was that whoever did the repairs in the garage did them poorly, and he was pretty much scathing about it. He says it was amateurish and that it was not efficient at all, not effective. And they said, in fact, we're discovering new cracks emanating from the repaired cracks. And what they do is they try to repair these cracks with epoxy, and they shoot the epoxy in through these injection ports. And he said they left the injection ports in the ceiling. So now you got stalactites growing down from the ceiling in there. And when you have stalactites, that means years and years of the water and the calcium carbonate and all that stuff dripping. So that can't be good. And then in 1996, too, when these guys added those extra planters that are not in the architect's drawings, which I brought up last night, I question, how did they get those giant 20-foot tall palm trees in to that area there in the pool deck? Did they drive on it with a large forklift? And I don't think that should be a drivable load. You know what I'm saying? Like that slab on top of the pool deck, I don't think is rated for vehicular traffic. You know, I might be wrong, but I haven't seen anything that said that it was, because it's a pedestrian pool deck. It was never designed or intended, in my opinion, to have something drive on it. And if you put something heavy on it that drives on it with a palm tree in it, I'm thinking that thing might create like a couple of cracks here. You drive forward a little more, it might create a couple of more cracks here. And that's, of course, just my speculation. I don't know. But I've seen firsthand before when somebody takes a scissor jack lift. You ever seen those big, giant scissor jacks? They weigh, I don't know how much they weigh, but they're very heavy. And I've seen them drive them into a lobby of a building that was tiled, and it cracked the tiles. So, yeah, there's a lot of things spinning around in my head about like what could have gone out on that pool deck to weaken it so much. Plus, you have water sitting on it and pooling on it all the time. John Little says, I think they had heavy machinery on the pool deck to remove the palms. Yep, we brought that up in the video last night, too, as well, because I have my sneaky suspicions. Or was it brought in with a crane? Did they bring some type of a small crane or a crane truck out there and park it on that deck? You know, we don't know. Pure speculation, but I would like to see pictures or a video of when they did that. The other thing was that very few people know, and I haven't even seen a single news station mention this, but you'll see we showed it in the video last night, and with the video, that there was a crane collapse during the construction of this Champlain Tower South on, was it July 9th, 1980? So right when they were just kind of getting the first floor up and going, this crane on the property that they had toppled over. And we're still trying to get more information about that, but I searched and searched the internet, Couldn't find anything other than this one 30-second video that we showed you there on the thing last night. And let me see, somebody asked a question about the planters. I thought I saw something about that. These are huge buildings, and something is going to happen. It's a matter of time, yeah. Deetra Ed says, you see they removed the palm trees. Right. And I showed that in our video last night. I showed the sat photos from the property appraiser's office from 17, 18, 19, 20, and then I think I stopped last year. But they were removed in 2018. So that much we know. And Claire said, I read on Because Surfside, someone said the white car still had a victim in it. I don't know which white car, but I didn't hear anything about a victim still being in a car. That's interesting. Let's see what else we got. You can cut trees into pieces. Yeah, you can, but Charles, these pieces, remember these palm trees, they weigh about anywhere from 100 to 500 pounds per foot, depending on the variety of the tree. And if you start cutting those and you drop a chunk down, that'd be a bad thing too, to have it land, because nobody's going to be down below with a catcher's mitt catching those things. And Jerry Harris says, is the pool deck on the sister building set up the same way? I'm pretty sure it is if they use the same architecture. And I mentioned it in the video last night that it would have been better if they had used an isolation seam between the pool deck and the building instead of tying the two together and having all that rebar and beams and everything. That way, if the pool deck collapsed with that shearing, that punch-through shearing, actually it's called punching shear. So if it had collapsed with that punching shear, that's the only thing that would have collapsed. It would not have dragged down on the building unless there was other mitigating factors that brought the building down too, other than just that. We think there was a lot of waterlogged issues in that concrete and the ceiling and the garage because of all of the leaks all over there, all of those drips, all of those stalactites and everything. And yeah, so the leak was, somebody said the leak was coming from the roof, not the pool deck. The pool deck is the roof of the garage, and that is where the leaks were coming from. And then what I showed, I made a nice stack up drawing, and I'm going to, on the next video, I'm going to spend a little time expanding on that and showing how when you have a pool deck with the bricks, and if there's maybe, I think there's about an inch of sand, when you have all of that rainwater coming down, now that rainwater has to percolate through the sand. So it's going to sit there and it's going to collect up water. And when you add up the height of the water going through an inch of sand, right, and then through the inch height of the tile, and then all the little channels, the grout lines, so to speak, water weighs 8.3 pounds per gallon. So that's a lot of weight on top of that deck, not to mention a lot of water that's sitting there waiting to drain off, which means that deck is always wet and absorbing water. And you'll see, I showed numerous real estate agent photos of the pool yesterday in our video that we uploaded last night. And on a lot of those pictures, parts of the deck are always wet. They always seem to be wet. And we showed you a bird's eye view photo from 2019 where there was massive amounts of staining on the deck. I mean, just horrific staining in areas that you could tell was pooling water, and a lot of it over near those planters too. And then S. Airy says, did the planters have automatic watering systems that never shut off? You know, I don't know. I didn't see any plumbing drawings that showed anything going out there. The only thing I saw on the plumbing from the planter's standpoint was that they all had drains. What I don't know is those big planters that they brought in later with the palm trees in them, which you'll see in our video last night. I don't know if those were ever connected up to any drains, because they would have had to drill through the deck and run probably 4-inch pipes up to those things, and then run them along the garage ceiling and mate them up to all the other drain pipes that go and then feed into the sewer system or whatever, the stormwater runoff. So, you know. And Anne Marie says, what about palm trees' root system? I've had trees crack my retaining walls. Yeah, that's another thing too. Whether it pokes through the bottom, we don't know, or it goes through the side, we don't know. But yeah, we see that here with roots from trees all the time. They poke it up through the sidewalks and stuff like that. That's definitely a possibility. And let me see. Charlie Klaus says, I wonder if that building was built like some of those old California buildings where they used beach sand in the concrete. You know, that's one of those urban legends, I think, that people repeat a lot. Concrete is made from a specific formula, and it's trucked in from companies like up in Pompano. Rinker, I think, was the big company back in the day with the big orange trucks. And so that's all made off-site at companies that know their stuff pretty well. And now they did take core samples, so they will tell us whether the concrete was made to the proper spec or not. But no, it's not. They don't make it on, as far as I know, they don't make it on site with the sand there, because they really need pretty exacting formulas for making that concrete. And Cuddy Garage, did you see the video where the guy changed color of 7 minutes before the collapsing video? Yeah, I did. And in fact, somebody sent me a great screenshot of that view, not from his channel, but another photographer who knows how to use, I don't know if he was using Photoshop really well, but he cleaned it up for me and made it super bright so that it looks like you're standing right in the garage now. So I'm going to show that on our next video as well. I think that shows clearly a lot more of the rubble that's already on the floor of the garage 7 minutes before it collapsed. And I don't know if you guys heard the news, but somebody has already stolen the identities of many of the dead there and has taken out credit in their names. I mean, there's just debauchery, folks, everywhere. People would do that kind of stuff. And Ted says, yes, it was indeed Rinker. And Musical Gamer says, did you see the video of the guy? Oh, yeah, that's the one we just read. Yep. And LJ says, broken white drain pipes were clogged, not working and holding water for many years. That's why they left loose and flooded the garage. No, I think the reason why that one pipe broke was because the pool deck came down on top of it, and it just knocked it like this, and then it's gushing water. And we don't know what kind of water was in there, if it was sprinkler water or what. But usually, if it's sprinkler water and it gets cut off and you lose pressure, it's supposed to set off an alarm. So everybody's scratching their heads trying to figure out what pipe that was. And poking roots could be the reason they removed it. Yep. All right, so I think we have more tools to pick out for winners here. Let's see. Go back here. Trying to think if there's anything else. There was that Toyota Supra. I figured out what space it was in, so I'm going to show that in my next video. Those of you who seen me show that little white Toyota Supra that was in the garage there, with everything collapsing down around it. Oh, the smart bulbs. Where are those? Let me see. Do I have any of the smart bulbs? I could have sworn I had one over here. Oh, here we go. Smart bulbs right here. So if you guys don't know what these are cool. These are LED light bulbs that you screw into your fixture up in the ceiling, and you connect to them with Wi-Fi through an app on your phone. You can change I think the color temperature. There's all sorts of stuff you can do. And you have voice control over them too, so you could basically go turn on, turn off. These are cool. I got these at Costco. I think I paid $20 for these, but I think they go for like 40. So we had 2,600 entries for this. And let's see what the winners are. Oh, we got 2 winners on these. And let's draw those names, those 2 lucky people. And the winners are Sam Salfaro from Monroe, and I guess that's Michigan, and Jean Leonard from Thibodaux, Louisiana. Congratulations to both of you for winning that. Let's see what else we have. And we should have a couple more. Let me see. Bum, bum, bum. The next one, and I believe this is the last one because I think we got everything else. These are really nice. So these are normally $19.99. These Milwaukee leather skin gloves. And they have them marked down right now at Home Depot for $14.95. So I don't know why more people didn't snap these right up. So I think I don't know if we gave away one last time or not, but yeah, these are nice. And let's see who our lucky winner is on this one. Oh, there was one invalid. Let's see what the invalid one says. Somebody had an email that bounced. Man, Mary Danforth. I don't know why it looks like a legitimate email unless you typed in too many letters, which I see in the middle of your email there. But the email bounced. So be careful, folks, with those emails next time you enter. And let's pick the winner. Let's see. Winners. And that's going to go in there and grab it. We'll draw the winning name. And survey says the winner is CEE, so C-Man625 from New Baltimore, Michigan. We got a lot of Michigan and Virginia winners tonight. So that was pretty good there. So yeah, that's all of those tools. So let's see if we have any other. There you go. I like that one. Gigi Goes Kikakito says, if the glove doesn't fit, you must have quit. I'm going to do my OJ impression. There you go. So John Little says, was it a Google Plus email? No, it was not. But I have seen a few in the past, though, where people entered the contest. And if you do it using your YouTube account, and if you forget your YouTube account has an old Google Plus as your email, it's going to bounce. So you got to make sure, you got to watch out for that. A lot of people got caught up with that because when they killed off the Google Plus, it was about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that invalidates all of those emails. And Musical Gamer says, did you just go into THD and buy a ton of stuff? I buy them over time, and usually you see me buy a lot of these during my live stream. If I stumble across something or a nice clearance item, yeah, we just go ahead and I'll buy them and use that as the tool giveaway. So yeah, I don't ever go into Home Depot. Very, very rarely will I go in there and pay full price for something, ever. I always make sure that I have a coupon. If it's a big ticket item, I go online and I'll buy a coupon or I'll buy the 10% off coupons. I've had a few of you tell me that your Home Depots are still accepting the 10% off coupon from Lowe's. But most of them, it's officially removed out of their system in March. And some of them, I think, never even took them as well. And Spivvy says, is this about the collapse of Champlain Towers or a free giveaway? Well, we were here to do announce the winners for the giveaway, but also this is a good chance for us to answer questions about the collapse. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can answer them here. And Justin says, can you talk about the North Tower and do side-by-side pictures with the South Tower? Yeah, with the South Tower. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. They do have the same set of floor plans, although when the architect turned them in, like the first 100 pages are the South Towers, the second 100 pages are the North Towers. Now, I got to imagine that maybe a couple of things might have been different between the two. But if you're wondering why is the South Towers collapsed but the North Towers survived, and that is because from what I've heard or what I've seen on the interviews, is the HOA at the North Towers was quicker to respond to getting things done and fixed early on when they started to see things. Now, I don't know if they ever had that same flooding problem that they had in the South Towers either, you know. And then Lake Nipissing just sent us a $7.67 Canadian super chat. Thank you for that. And asks, why did the South building suffer so badly versus the North? Same architect, similar layout. Yep. What happened was, it just seemed like whatever happened early on, I think that it was some bad luck. They were the victim of contractors early on that didn't come in and repair things properly. And again, my theory about why would they come in and add these planters that the original architect didn't have in there. Is that too much weight for the deck? I don't know. Probably not. But when you're thinking about a structure and asking yourself, is that too much weight? It's sort of a loaded question, because it's not too much weight when the concrete is in great shape. But what about when the concrete has been compromised by years of water? And once the water gets down, see, let me remind you guys that concrete slabs are a sponge for water. People think, oh, if I spill water on concrete, I'm fine. You know, it's not going to go anywhere. That's not true. Concrete is porous, and the water can react with it and start doing stuff, changing the pH, weaken it. And when the moisture eventually gets its way to the rebar, which is anywhere from 1 inch to 3 inches below the surface, as soon as it hits that rebar, the rebar can start to rust. And when it rusts, it expands, and it causes the cracking, that spalling that you see, where chunks of the concrete can fly off, and then you're left with the exposed rebar. But that's not all of the problem, because that corrosion you see continues on for many, many inches. And we're going to bring that up again on the next video when I show that picture of the pool room, the pool, the equipment room, where that pool contractor took the picture. That wasn't the cause of the problem. However, it shows how the contractor had to go in and not the pool contractor, but another contractor from last year went in, and they had to start chiseling on the concrete to work their way to the end. It's like a dentist cutting out, drilling for your cavity. They have to drill away all the decayed material until there's no more. So why did the South Tower have so many issues? So bad luck, bad contractors, first of all. And they didn't fix the things in a timely enough manner. So when they had that engineer that came in 2018 and says, you got to fix this stuff like soon, it took until last year before they got around to it. And, in all fairness to them, too, getting contractors in 2020 was a nightmare. I had my hurricane windows put in, the impact glass, in March. But I signed the contract in October. And we waited basically 6 months for the windows to be made, because the manufacturers can't even get employees to come in to work in 2020. And I just had my paver brick driveway done last month. And we signed that contract in January and waited 12 weeks for the bricks to be made. So, time just wasn't on their side. And the sad thing about it is they were working on it, guys. They were working on that 40-year plan. So now the city is kind of like suggesting to people, maybe you ought to start looking at 30 years instead of 40 years. And personally, I think it's a great idea to have an engineer, a PE licensed engineer, come in about every 2 years and just walk around and do a sanity check. It's not going to cost you a lot of money to have somebody to come in and do that, right? So let's see what other questions came in about it. So Pro IT says, anyone know if the camera's near the pool? Oh, yeah. So I've been asking about that. We put up a video 2 weeks ago where I asked about that. In fact, I turned in a Freedom of Information Act request to the Miami-Dade Police Department on Friday. I don't know if we're going to hear back from them, if they're going to release any videos or what. But damn well, those cameras all captured something right up until the last frame, right? So remember, the pool deck crashed in first, and the building stood there for 7 minutes. So we're going to see 7 minutes of video before that building comes down on those cameras. And there's cameras in the garage. There's a few of them in the garage. I want to see those, because those might give us a hint of what dropped first and where, and what led to those, those columns giving way. Because obviously that first column that went down when the pool deck collapsed, that was outside the border of the building. But did it weaken that other one that gave it enough time? So, yeah. And Musical Gamer says someone needs to check on the beam column 2728 in the sister building. Yep. Those are the failures, yeah. So that column, and it has a beam that goes to the 27, right? And the problem with that beam that I kind of was unsure about is, why is it going between the two instead of going above the two, like all the other beams in there? So I don't know what was different about the design of that beam, that it's acting more like a shear than a top-down load support. So let's see what other questions came in about that. And Electron Ash says, with the waterproofing membrane on the pool deck, does that mean the lower part of the slab could have delaminated? Well, see, you got that waterproofing membrane on there. And think of it like when we're doing showers and we do that Schluter membrane, right, for the waterproofing membrane. Those have a lifetime span, and they can fail. And when they fail, water starts getting through. Now, they said something alarming last July when the engineers had the contractor take out another 3-foot by 3-foot section of the parking deck. So right where you drive in off Collins Avenue and you're in that covered parking, you're at ground level. That's the part that came down, you know. They noticed that there was no waterproofing there at all beneath the stamped concrete. So that's kind of unnerving. And that explains why when you look at my video tour of the garage that we did a week ago Saturday, and I plotted all of those puddles of water, you can see it's no surprise that there was a lot of cracks and damage on that ceiling right below that spot and lots of puddles of water there, because I think it's leaking there because they never put any, supposedly, they never put any waterproofing there. Now, I don't know if it's the architect's fault or if it's the builder's fault. Maybe it was on the plans but not implemented. Maybe another contractor came back later to do work on in the stamped concrete there, and maybe they did something. So we just don't know. But you know, it just seems like lack of maintenance in the proper areas. I saw an article that said people in the north towers were saying it's kind of strange how our building and our whole property looks a lot nicer than that. You know, that was what people were always saying. Neighbors talking to neighbors that knew each other in both buildings. And yeah, Mike Newsom says, depends, like you said, the equipment used to remove the palm trees and add the planters under the deteriorating concrete deck. Yep. And look in the video last night. It's right near the end where I showed some pictures from that engineer's 2018 report. One of those PVC pipes that goes up to the ceiling and in through the roof of the garage. That's one of the drains, possibly one of the planters, don't know. But it had cracks all around it. And I'm like, well, that's weird. You know, why would you have cracks all around there? So definitely a lot of water coming in. Now, we haven't even touched on what about, could there be settling of the building? There was that report that came out in the 90s that says that area is settling 2 millimeters per year, which after, 25 years or so, would be about 2.5 inches. Does that mean the whole building went at once, or did maybe some columns go this and some columns went further? We don't know. That might come into play. You might have the water table issues, the water table rising under the building, or the salt water coming in from underneath and finding its way in through cracks. But they had that maintenance guy that worked there from 1995 to 2000 that said that we were pumping water so much we couldn't keep up with it, and we had 2 pumps going, and they're always working and burning out, and we have to replace one every year. But I'm like, what happened to that problem then? Why isn't it there now? If it was such a bad problem, why isn't it there? How did it go away? And so a lot of people keep asking me, did a car crash into the column maybe and take it out? You know, when you're in a garage, you know, turning around and you're not going fast, and the column wins every time. You know, what if it was a disintegrated column? Maybe. But as far as we know, there's no record of it. You would have been killed instantly because the roof fell in on it. So there was no record of somebody up against the column dead in the garage. Most of the garage was actually intact, except for the part where the building was. The garage is much bigger than the building. See, a lot of people look at that map of the garage and they think that the building is on top of it. The building is like this much of a gigantic map. So the garage extends all over the place and beyond it because of the pool deck. It's under that pool deck. I think a lot of people have a hard time understanding what's really going on underground there. There's cars parked all over underneath that pool deck, right up against the pool, right up against that jacuzzi that's next to the pool. And so it was pretty packed down there. And Jim Jules says, Apple Dumpling, you get 10% off? All I get are weird looks. Yeah. Remember, if you're a military, you can get 10% off at Lowe's and at Home Depot. And they're both pretty good about if something goes on sale after you buy it, you can bring back your receipt and they'll give you the difference on that. And Tony M says, water, salt, rusty rebar equals crumbling concrete. Yeah. And I got news for you. You don't even need the salt. All you need is the water. And we're going to show where I went back to one of my old condos. I had a condo that we used to rent out. We sold it in 2014, and it was a 7-year-old condo when I sold it. I bought it brand new in 2007, sold it 7 years later in 2014, and I saw cracks on my patio and my neighbor's patio forming, and I was like pretty nervous about that. That doesn't look right. And I informed them, and I'm pretty sure they didn't do anything about it. The HOA there was useless, so I'm glad I sold out of there. But after the tower collapsed, I went back there where now the building is 14 years old, and I shot some pretty scary video. You'll see I uploaded it as a short about 2 weeks ago, where the top of the stairs, the concrete is all cracked and a big chunk is like coming off of it right now, where the post, the top of the stair railing attaches. So a lot of the builders down here, what they do, they're not very good at what they do. The builders down here, most of them are garbage. And I know I'm going to take a lot of flack for that, guys, but a lot of the builders down here, when they put those railings into the concrete at the top of the stairs and at the landings, they don't seal it. So that's part of the problem. So the water gets into that little crack that you don't even think anything about, but it gets in there and it rusts out the metal, and the metal expands and you get some kind of spalling or other types of cracked and chipped concrete. So that's always been a problem down here. So what they should really do is seal it and then paint over it with a good, maybe some type of elastomeric paint that will help. That seals it up pretty good and keeps the water at bay. A lot of times they don't seal that little round spot where the post comes in. So I took a bunch of pictures of that and some of the spalling on the concrete now that's over there. And we're going to do a video on that. Maybe this coming week, it depends. And let's see, Lake Nipissing sends another super chat and says, sheet page 2 of 11, yeah, dated 8/1879, shows the garage drains go to a stormwater disposal well on the beach side with a $3,000 interceptor tank. Yeah. And I think a lot of that's probably changed in recent years. The cities no longer want us dumping stormwater on them. They don't want it. They don't need it. So you'll see that a lot of the properties built since 2005 or so, including a townhouse that I bought in 2005, will have a retaining pond on the property. There's a law now that a certain percentage of whatever land you buy has to have a retaining pond on it. So down here in South Florida now, you drive around some of these newer shopping centers, you'll see like a pond built on the front of it, and they'll try to make it look nice and with some, wild growth and stuff in there. And but it's there to collect the storm runoff. So yeah, we still have a lot more work to do on those drawings and everything. And let's see if any other questions have come in about this. And then remember too, folks, any questions that you didn't get answered, because there's just so many, I can't keep up with all of the comments, but you can ask it in the comments of the video after it's uploaded. And remember too, you can watch the video in double speed too after it's uploaded. And Musical Gamer says, Jeff, I meant to point this out. The parking garage document has multiple spaces with the same number. Yeah, I was going to point that out, too. It was one of the errors Marabito made on his drawing. He has 114. He has space number 114 repeated like 8 times, which made it hard for me to tell where that white Toyota Supra is. So until I figured out the mistake, and now I know where space number 118 is, I now know the Supra was in space number 95 in that drawing. So his other document had an error too. He had a document where he says to the condo association, we're pleased to give this, this project information to you, the blank, 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 8 homeowners association. But he names another, some other condo probably because they cut and pasted and forgot to edit it. So, Spivey says they were starting renovations from the roof for a reason. They didn't extend the damage through the concrete within each story of the building, pancake for a reason. Well, I don't think it started at the roof. What they were doing on the roof was two things. They found out they were not within compliance of these laws about you got to have hooks up on the roof for the window washing guys or painters or whoever needs to hang off of the side of the building. So they were going to install those, and I guess they realized that the waterproofing membrane on top of the roof was at the end of its useful life, which is usually about 15 years. So they were starting that. Why they didn't fix all of the major engineering things down below first is beyond me, other than the fact that they said they wanted to start before hurricane season to get the roof done. I don't think a hurricane would have done any damage, really, to the roof. And let's see. Yeah, we got a lot of trolls in here tonight. You guys probably don't see it, but our mods like Mike Land are doing a pretty good job of, people are just immature. They come in and every 5 seconds they'll keep repeating the same troll comment that doesn't even make any sense. Or we get the conspiracy theory people that keep coming in with this nonsense about John McAfee had a unit in the building. I mean, just all sorts of off-the-wall stuff. Let's see. Mike Baron says remodel in 96 probably removed waterproofing and removed the water drain slope for the new pavers. Yeah, but in order to remove a slope, if the slope was even there to begin with, you'll have to level it off with like a self-leveler. So unfortunately, I have the copy of their permit application, but it doesn't have any drawings or anything saying specifically, here's how we're doing it. And I would have liked to have seen that. They just simply didn't have it. And let's see. Spivey says, without long-term water damage throughout each story, there's no reason the building would pancake instead of... The building will pancake if the front edge of it, if those columns collapse. That's what happened. One way or another, something dragged those first between 3 and 5 columns. We don't know if they all fell at once or if it was the first 3 and then as they were falling it drags the other 2. But definitely that will start a pancaking, because what happens is as the first floor drops down like this at an angle, right? Everything else, it's pulling everything else down at an angle all the way up to the top. It's going to have a rippling effect up to the top. And then it starts to pancake. So that's why people think the roof had something to do with it. I just don't think that it did. And let's see, what else? Many were sleeping during this collapse, so many people didn't even know anything happened because that first part of the building was down in 5 seconds, and the whole collapse was done in 15 seconds there. Let's see. JC says, I didn't see the trolls. That's because our Mr. Nerdy A and Mike Land are doing a good job of slamming the door shut on it before it gets seen. And a lot of people don't know either. I don't know if it works on the live chats, but on my channel, I have filters. So if certain words are typed in, it doesn't even get listed. People think they left a comment and it doesn't show up. So Detra Ed says, but maybe the loud sounds woke some up and the shifting. One lady on unit 611 said she was waken up by the noise, looked up and saw her living room wall. The crack was developing, and she hightailed it out of it. Now listen to this. This is the luckiest person alive, because she gets out of her unit and is running down the hall, doesn't know that there's an emergency staircase right there, and instead runs down the hall around the corner into the part of the building that survived and takes that staircase down. And while she's in that staircase, the other building collapsed. So had she taken that emergency exit, had she known it was there, she'd be dead, because that just leads down to the garage. So yeah, very lucky woman there. And what else? And Gregory Lyons says AC units usually just drain on the roof. Well, I don't think they allow that. I think they may go into their own drain, But the roof is sloped, or it's supposed to be anyway. There's several drains on the roof where it's supposed to slope towards those drains. Plus you have scuppers around the edges as a secondary in case it gets too floody up there. And Sparkle Purple says, is there a website for the public to check on other buildings? I'm not sure what you mean by a website. Like, what sort of information would you be looking there for that other building there? Oh, yeah, and Robert Benzel says 611 was a recent sale. Yeah, that's why the lady didn't know that was a... she didn't know she ran right past like a safety, a backup staircase, an emergency staircase. She had just, I think she bought it and just moved into it a month ago. And Musical Gamer says, if it wasn't for you, Jeffostroff, I don't think we would have figured out the collapse source. Well, you know, we still don't know. I mean, those are what I think based on all of the information so far. But remember, mine is not based on, we haven't gotten core samples, so I don't know. Those got to be analyzed. They have to analyze the rebar. They have to analyze the slab. They have to look at that slab at the bottom of the garage, see if there was any damage. Did anything shift? They still have to rule out a lot of other causes and stuff there. And Ignacia says Morabito did not specify any repairs as extensive to the columns as what the pile caps needed. Well, we don't know. I mean, we don't know what kind of damage was on the pile caps because you don't see them because they're underground. So that's the problem there. And Electron Ash says, or the pillar and or beam in the basement might have failed first and then the pool deck. That's another possibility, yeah. Yep. But I look at where I think something might be the weakest. And where do you think the weakest is? And that's where you got all those cracks on the slab. That's what I'm thinking would be the weakest there. Enclave gives a $5 super chat. Thank you. And he says, thanks for the good work, Jeff. Cool beans. Yep, and Sparkle says, I'm traveling from Puerto Rico, staying in an older condo, worried about it now. Well, the first thing you ought to do when you get there is walk the grounds at the bottom and at the garage and see what you see. And if it looks like what you saw on the roof of the garage there, I'd be like, maybe there's a Holiday Inn around the corner I can go to. Let's see. There was a note in the engineer's report that 14 of the exhaust fans, let's see, is there 16? There's 16 exhaust fans on the roof, and 11 of them were not functioning. So that means all of those units that collectively feed into each of those 11 exhaust fans up on the top were probably not getting the most effective exhausting out of their bathrooms either. And Mitch Coyne says, hey, Jeff, what about painting the cement with waterproof paint like the garage floor? I always wondered about that too, but I think once you patch everything up, I think there's a sealer that they roll on and then paint over that. And if you use a good enough paint with elastomeric type properties, they're very rubbery. I think that would be pretty good. The idea is to just keep the water off hitting the direct concrete, you know. Now, some people on their balconies had put tile with grout and all that, but the water can get through the grout and go right onto that concrete. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I would have tiled. That's a tough call to make. And Wet Dog says, Jeff, how long did it take you to edit the main video? Oh, the $4.5 million. There was the one view that I got 4.5 million views on. And how long did it take to edit the main video? I think it was, I probably worked on it 2 or 3 days. And getting it all together. The one I did last night, I had worked on for 3 days, till 3 o'clock in the morning, every morning. A lot of research, a lot of reading and rereading and re-listening to witness accounts. And I had also been discussing with a lot of people contacting me all week long, offering new evidence. And I would, oh yeah, let me look at that. Okay. And I would kind of massage what I was going to do. So that was a very long video to work on there. And John Jeffries says, thoughts on degree of robustness? Well, if you had that much water coming into that concrete slab, and we know that it was because, remember, the garage is under the pool deck. It's under the building too, but it was under the pool deck. And most of what we saw was under the deck. Most of the damaged areas. Now, I wish the engineer had been more specific in 2018 on all of those columns that he found and where he found the spalling at. That would be interesting to know. And Robert Benzo says, maybe one of you guys down there could get a hold of a floor plan from a local pizza shop. There you go. Well, I've been poring over those floor plans from the condo. They were released the day after the collapse. So the city was pretty proactive about that. And Mr. George says, does anyone know how the Ring camera footage got uploaded? Yes. And we're doing a video on that. I'm hoping tomorrow. The lady who owns that unit, 711, she was out of town. I think she said she wasn't at the building that day, but her Ring unit triggered when the collapse was starting, and so she was able to get that 10-15 seconds out of it. So we're going to do a video where we go through that frame by frame, okay? And Tony M says, looks like there was no paint on the deflecting transfer beam. That beam was peeling like crazy, and it just looked like it had been wet in the past. If you paint something and it's dry, the paint's not going to come peeling off. If paint starts peeling off, that means the surface behind it is moist. There's just no two ways about it. So, yeah, I think there was a lot of moisture being held in that beam. Now, we showed how in the garage, right, the beam was curved on the bottom. I don't know if it's sagging because the top of it appears to be straight. It could just be the way it was formed when they do the wood molds and stuff like that, you know, when it was being built. We simply don't know. But yeah, it did catch my eye that seemed to be the only beam in there that had a curved bottom. So all of these little kinds of things that seem to be abnormal in that one spot where everything fell apart, or where we think everything fell apart. And that tourist video has been the single most helpful intelligence on what fell, because now that when we color corrected everything and we look at the picture, we can see depth a little better now. We can see what columns are supposed to be there and which ones are missing in that video. And remember, the building's still standing, but there's columns missing. So we were able to tell which ones of those columns were missing. And yeah, well, yeah, Mr. George says, if only that Ring camera had its own backup battery. Yeah, just a few more seconds of frames would have been nice to catch in there. And Austin says, what happened to the camera footage near the pool? Well, that's what I had asked for in writing on Friday from Miami Dade Police Department. So they're the ones that gave us out the 911 calls last week. And so I'm hoping that they will provide that. It's part of it's a criminal investigation right now. There's already a grand jury. And so I don't know that they are going to release anything. And Jim Davis says, can't think of another relatively recent spontaneous building collapse in the U.S. Well, there was a couple. There was, in 1974 in Miami, the DEA office collapsed. You could look that up. 2 people got killed. And then in, I think it was in 1979, there was the Hyatt Regency in, I think, Kansas City, had a collapse of their gigantic, there was like a skywalk in there. And I forget how many people were killed in that. There was a big party going on in there that night, and it just collapsed. So, but the whole building did not, though. And let's see. Yep, so the Ring was uploading directly to the cloud, but as soon as the collapse started, it would have lost the interweb. Yep. And Spivey says, leakage from the pool deck wouldn't go up 12 floors. It could wick up, whatever, a few inches maybe. If you look at our video from the garage that we uploaded a week ago yesterday, from that lady that was in there last year looking at a unit to buy, and she shot video in the garage of her trying to find her parking space. We saw lots of damage on the bottom of the columns where it meets the floor. A lot of people had commented to me the day we uploaded it, did you see all that? Did you see all those water stains on the bottom of this pole? And that, when they listed off the numbers, and it's pretty much most of them down there have it. Hey, the other thing too is I found a few more pictures yesterday of the planters up on the pool deck, and they look like they have damage near the bottom of the planters sitting up there. So it's like wherever there's concrete there, it just got, you know, damaged there. And Mitch Coyne says good night. He's got to go. Cool. So thanks for joining us, Mitch. And James Williams says, what was that Marlboro building in Miami? I think that was the Marlboro Hotel. And that was actually part of a planned demolition. So they were getting ready to demolish the building. And I think something happened and it triggered early. And then one employee got injured. Nobody got killed, as far as I know. But that's what everybody's talking about. But yeah, so many people take that story and twist it around that it was that was an accident. Like pre-intended. Like planned. Like somebody came in as a terrorist act, or they said, what about all those people that got killed in the Marlboro building? No, I don't even think anybody got killed in it. Let's see. Yeah, CDI does a lot of pretty good demos there. Yeah, and Electron Ash brings up a good point. The AC drains normally go into pipes, especially in the units. They have to drain into pipes that lead down to the ground. What I want to know is, where's the security guard? Why haven't we heard any interviews from the security guard in the building? Because he's the guy that the lady came out of her apartment and went complaining, I'm hearing banging noises down below, And they both thought it was an earthquake. So when the lady escapes out of the building with her kids and she's running up the street like 3 blocks north, she's like randomly banging on strangers' doors saying, let us in, let us in. And the people must have thought she was crazy because she was yelling. I could hear her on the 911 call. You could hear her in the background yelling, earthquake, earthquake. So she was absolutely convinced that it was an earthquake. But I want to know what the security guard did and why he didn't pull the fire alarm. And when he called 911, he didn't even know the address of the building. I'm like, oh, it's just craziness, man. He had to ask the family standing in front of him what the address of the building was. And so, can I get a hold of her on Facebook? Yeah, I might try. I've seen her story so many times. I've seen her do a live on CNN. So we've seen her story, and her son's been interviewed a number of times. We've seen enough that we already know what happened and what they were going through. The poor guy, he was having a hard time telling, as they're running away from the building, he's having a hard time on 911 telling them the address. He kept saying 877 Collins Avenue, but the address is 8777. So the address he was giving them was actually about 8 miles south, unfortunately. And yeah, you could hear the panic in their voices. Look, a lot of times when people have to call 911, things happen. They're in a panic, or they lock up, they freeze, they don't know what to say, they don't know what to do. So that phenomenon happens quite a bit. So BRNMCC01 says it was a she, not a he. I've heard a couple of people say that in the past, but the interviews I saw with this woman and her son said it was a he. She went out to complain to the security guard. He told him that to pull the alarm. So I don't know where you got this, that it was a she, because none of us can even get the person's name to even find out. And when you hear his voice on the 911 call, it sounds more like a man than a woman. All right, what else have we got? Ed, so Detcher Ed still thinks it's a car crash, that the car ran into the column. Yeah, just not seeing that. I think the columns are going to win every time on that one. And Tony says, would like to know why they removed the palm trees. Yeah, me too. Maybe the engineer in 2018 told them, hey, you ought to remove these because they're probably adding too much weight, or maybe it's cracking beneath them. I just would have loved to get into that garage and get pictures all over the place of every crack that was in there and see what was happening. I would love to be a fly on the wall in there. JT Thompson says, hope your life never depends on a 911 operator. Well, look, they do their best they can. They're trained to the very first thing out of their mouth is, what's the address? Because that's the very first thing they need to know. Because as you're telling them the address, they're typing it in. So now they know where to go. If there's a hang up, they know where to send people. Because a lot of times when people call on their cell phone, it doesn't tell you, it doesn't know, they don't know the address. Only if you call from a landline. Yeah, so I would like to, Electron Ash, I would like to find out whether it was a man or woman. I'm pretty sure it was a man security guard, but I would like to see it from a real news source that actually interviewed somebody, you know. And yeah, I think those palm trees. So Claire is saying the palm trees went up 3 floors and blocked the view. Yeah, so they're probably 20 feet tall, and about, let's say if they were 100 pounds per foot, you know, you're talking about 2,000 pounds per tree sitting in a planter, probably a concrete block planter that was added later, that wasn't part of the original design. That's adding a lot of weight per square foot there. Let's see. And Nerdy Mr. Tool Giveaway says, the tool giveaway is done for the night. Yeah, I think we gave them all away. I was only doing that one. I think it was the batteries during that glitch when the video cut off. So yeah, we have finished all of those, and we're probably going to end up soon. It's pretty late now. I don't want to be on here like forever and ever. But as you folks have questions or comments or evidence that you find, you can leave them in the comments here below when it uploads, and we'll be taking a look at it. And as I work throughout the week on the next videos, we can incorporate some of that and answer some of your questions as well. The security guard's name reportedly is Shamoka Furman. I'll have to search that and see. There's a GoFundMe page. Says Jay Londo's YouTube page. Yeah, we will see. Because other people that were running out of the building said they saw the security guard, and they said, he told us, get out of the building, there's an earthquake. That's what he was telling them. So multiple people said it was a he. So I don't know. And you got to watch out for these GoFundMe pages. Because there's a lot of fake stuff going around, and I guess on GoFundMe somewhere they have it confirmed or verified as to which are the legitimate ones there. And let me see. Any other questions? Prayers to all of those who have lost loved ones. Yes, indeed. There was got to be some really incredibly sad people right now. Some, you know, people, parents that died with their kids, probably in bed, that didn't even know it. So anyway, I think we're going to wrap this up, folks. So thank you guys for all tuning in. And if if you haven't seen any of our previous videos that we've uploaded over the past 2 weeks on this collapse, you probably want to start binge watching them, because a lot of the stuff that we talked about here, we show you either visually or with charts and graphs and things like that. And anyway, so thanks for joining us tonight, guys. And we'll probably try to do another tool review next month. Let me give you a preview here of one item we're going to do. Oh, this one's huge. It's heavy. Now, we're not giving away this whole kit, but let me see. You guys remember this when I pointed this out at one of our live streams about a month ago, where this is a $400 kit, and it was marked down to $399, and then, oh wait, I'm sorry, this was a $499 kit, I think. And it was marked down to $399, then $349 on the clearance bin. And I got it for 10% off cheaper by using my Lowe's coupon, which they accepted. So I ended up getting it for like somewhere around $310. But anyway, what we're doing with this is I think I took it to get the battery. There's 2 batteries in here, 4 amp hour batteries. I'm taking the batteries, and I'm taking and I think it's the high torque ratchet goes to 100, 300, and 700 torque. So I'm going to take that out, but I'm going to give away the other 2 that are in here, and probably the charger in the bag too. So that's on tap for next month, and then of course we'll be accumulating more tools by that time as well. So anyway, thank you so much, guys. I'm going to end the stream now, and we'll see you guys all in the next one, and look for our videos coming up this week. We'll see you, everybody. Bye.